On the UpFront segment tonight, former Michigan Republican Governor Rick Snyder. He's making news with his endorsement of Joe Biden for president. Governor, thank you for joining us tonight, and let's start right there. Why Joe Biden?
We need to make a change, Dave, if you look at it. 4 years ago, a lot of people gave Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt. Now there's a track record of 4 years, and it's not a positive one. This is the most divisive this country's been in my lifetime. We can't continue that. We're on a very negative path, and he's been the divider in chief through this whole process. We need to heal our country, and I believe Joe Biden's the person that can do that. And when people ask me about the party thing, I tell people we're Americans before we belong to any party, and we have to think about what's in the best interest for our country. I view this as time to step up and say, we need to put America first and get the best person to represent us for the next 4 years.
Speaking of Biden, he was in Michigan last week. President Trump was here as well. Joe Biden here today. Donald Trump Jr. with a rally last night in Macomb County. No surprise to anyone, Michigan is going to be key again to what happens in November.
No, we're going to be a battleground state. It's critically important, and that's one of the reasons I spoke up. Because as you know, traditionally, I kept very low key during these things, but if you look at it, Michigan will make a difference, and we do need to have good voices speaking up. And I encourage others to speak up also. Actually, what caused me to do this is I talked to my kids and a number of young people about would they want to hear my opinion or not? Am I just the old dog out in the field or the yard, or do they actually have an interest in seeing how I analyze the situation? And I got positive feedback from them. They do care. And so I've gotten great positive feedback from many people saying it's good to have a voice of reason during this time of such incivility.
Do you think Biden can win Michigan? Do you think he will win Michigan?
I think he will win Michigan. And the difference are going to be people in the middle. Many people have already made up their mind on either one candidate or the other. But there are undecideds in the middle, and those were my core constituents, if you think about it, Dave, in terms of my elections. People whether they be Republicans, Independents, or Democrats, it was the center that kept me in office, and I appreciated that. So I thought it was important to speak up and make the point, we've had enough Donald Trump. It's now time for Joe Biden to come heal our country.
You mentioned you did not endorse Trump in 2016. You had reservations certainly then, and now, as you say, after 4 years, in your view, he's the divider in chief.
Yeah, one of the key things that came out is I was at the inaugural speech. I was sitting in the stands there. And Donald Trump had an opportunity to heal the country after the last election, which was divisive. I listened to that speech carefully. And in that entire speech, it was all geared to his supporters. It was about how he was going to take care of them. And that was a huge red flag to me. Because if you're an elected official, it's an honor and a privilege, and you need to represent everyone, whether they voted for you or not. Donald Trump has not done that. I know Joe Biden will do that.
How much pushback have you gotten from your decision to endorse the Democrat in this race?
Well, let me put it this way. If these phones and devices were meldable, mine probably would have melded. If you look at the messages I've got. But that brings home the point about the incivility going on, the divisiveness in our country. Think about that. How many people do you know? You wouldn't do that. If someone did something you didn't like, would you go out of your way to write some extremely profane or evil or mean note to them and just send it off? That's not how we should be treating one another. We need to have respect and learn how to disagree with people the right way. We need to learn that compromise is not a dirty word. These are things that help make Michigan great. We need that back in our country.
Is that still allowed in politics in 2020?
Well, again, I was proud of what we did. I tell people there's a big difference between campaigning and governing. Being negative campaigning is easy. You're just against something. Being a good person in terms of governance is learning about how it's not about you. It's how you bring people together with different views and how you accomplish real results. That's relentless positive action. And we need to see that in our leadership in Washington. And again, Joe Biden has a track record of showing he has the ability to do that.
Coronavirus has changed everything for us here, throughout the country, and around the world. Would you care to weigh in on the leadership Governor Whitmer has shown during this pandemic?
No, I'm being a good boy. As I said, I've kept a low key. I'm sticking to the presidential race and potentially some other legislative races or local races. But one thing I still want to do is stay out of the governor's sandbox. I had my opportunity, and I'm not going to make comments on my successor.
Finally, I do have to ask you, are you worried at all about any possible criminal charges coming your way as a result of the Flint water crisis?
No, Flint was a terrible thing to have happen. We responded. We did a lot of good things in Flint, and again, we need to move forward and learn from that. We actually put in the best lead and copper rule in the entire nation because of a learning experience we got from Flint to help all Michiganders. And the rest of the country has not kept up with that, nor has the federal government done things that we've done to make Michiganders safer as an experience of learning from Flint.
We'll leave it there. Governor, thank you so much for your time tonight and for sharing your reasons for endorsing Joe Biden in this race.
Great to be with you.
Great to be with you. Thank you. Governor Rick Snyder, former Governor Rick Snyder, joining us this evening. Glenda?